Hey guys, how you doing? Today we're diving deep into something that might surprise a few of you, and that's the battery life. Specifically, how long the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 models actually last in the real world. Now, I've spent the last few days wearing all three of the latest Galaxy Watch 8 models, the 44, the 40 and the 46mm Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, and I've tested them all under the same conditions. So if you're wondering which of these watches can really keep up with your day and maybe even your night, stay tuned, so let's jump right in. So before we get into the numbers, let me quickly walk you through how I tested each of those watches. Because let's be honest, officially battery specs don't always reflect what you really get in the daily use. For each watch, I did the exact same routine. A 45-minute GPS workout, no cheating, automatic brightness turned on the whole time, always on display mode enabled, a few notifications here and there, nothing crazy, and each night I tracked my sleep with the built-in sleep tracking feature and snore detection. Now this wasn't a lab test, it was just my real life day repeated for each model, so let's talk about how they performed. So let's start with the 44mm version of the Galaxy Watch 8. Now on paper, you would think the 44mm model would strike a balance, not too big, not too small, and maybe even deliver the most optimized performance. But in terms of battery life, it actually surprised me a little bit. With my test routine, the 44mm lasted about 27 hours. That's not even a full day and a half. And here's the interesting part. After 7 hours of sleep tracking, the battery dropped by a whopping 22% overnight. Even more striking, after 12 hours of typical use, including the sleep tracking, notifications, auto brightness, and the AOD mode, the battery went from 100% down to just 64%. That kind of drop in just half a day shows how quickly this model burned through the energy. For me, that means if you're using the sleep tracking and the always on display mode like I do, you're probably going to be charging this one every single day, maybe even before the evening if you start early. I started the testing at 11 p.m. and by that time the next day the watch battery life was down to 12% and didn't make it through the next night. Now here's when things get unexpected. I actually thought that the 40mm version, being the smallest, would have the weakest battery life. Smaller battery, right? But in my testing, it actually lasted longer than the 44mm model. I got about 32 hours of total usage out of it, which is a good 5 hours more than the 44mm. And doing sleep tracking, it only lost about 14% overnight, quite a bit better than the 22% from the 44mm one. What stood out even more was its performance during the 12 hours. From 100% battery at the start of the day, it dropped to just 74%, and that includes overnight sleep tracking. That's a 26% drop in 12 hours compared to the 36% drop from the 44mm. So not only does the 40mm last longer overall, it also handles short-term power efficiency much better. Now sure, it's still not a multi-day battery, but it does seem like the smaller screen and lower power consumption helped it squeeze out more time. So if you're looking for a compact watch and don't mind the smaller display, this one might actually give you a better endurance than expected. And like with the 44mm version, I started the test at 11 p.m. and by that time the next day the watch battery life was down to 23%, and it did make it through the next night. But you will definitely have to charge it the next morning, since by that time I only had 8% left. And then we have the big one, the 46mm Galaxy Watch 8 Classic. This one's a bit chunkier on the wrist. It definitely feels large, but that exercise comes with a big benefit, battery life. In my testing, the Classic lasted 46 hours. That's nearly 2 full days with that always on display mode, GPS workout, notifications and sleep tracking, all the same usage as the two other. And here's what really impressed me. After 7 hours of sleep tracking, the battery only dropped by 12%. That's better than both the 44 and the 40mm versions. So not only does it last longer during the day, but it also sips power more efficiently overnight. In a 12-hour period, the battery life dropped from 100% down to 8%. The reason for it being so much better than the others is that this watch actually has the same display size of the smaller 40mm version and an even bigger battery than the 44mm one. Now the 40mm one has a 325, the 44 has a 435, and the Classic one has a 445 mAh battery. So if you're someone who wants a Galaxy watch that you don't have to charge every night, this is the one. So let's compare those numbers side by side. The 44mm Galaxy Watch 8 came in at 27 hours of usage in my test and lost 22% battery during a night of sleep tracking. In just 12 hours including the night, it went from fully charged to 64%. Despite being the mid-size option, it was actually the worst performer in terms of endurance. The smaller 40mm version on the other hand lasted longer, 32 hours to be exact, and only used up 14% overnight during the sleep tracking. After 12 hours it still had 74% battery life left. It definitely punched above its weight, and honestly I didn't expect that. And finally, the 46mm Galaxy Watch 8 Classic, and this one came on top with a full 46 hours of battery life. Even with all of the features activated, it comfortably handled 2 full days and only dropped 12% during overnight sleep tracking. Now in short, the Classic dominated, the 40mm did surprisingly well for its size, and the 44mm unfortunately was the most power hungry of the three. By the way, if you liked the video so far, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tech viewers. You will also find the link to the watches down below in the description. So why do these results matter so much? Now of course, battery life isn't the only reason you would choose a smartwatch. Some people want a more compact design, some prefer the rotating bezel of the Classic version, but for me, and I think for a lot of people, battery life plays a big role in everyday convenience. There is something really nice about not having to think about your watch battery leak constantly. The Classic gave me that peace of mind. I could go to bed, wake up, do a workout the next morning and still not have to reach for the charger. The 44mm on the other hand always felt like I was running a little bit too close to empty. And the 40mm one, well, it surprised me in the best way. If you want something small but still decent on endurance, it definitely holds its own. So here's the big question, which one should you pick? If you want the best possible battery life, no question, go with the 46mm Classic version. It's the only one that comfortably got me through 2 full days, even with everything turned on. If you want something compact and don't mind sacrificing a little bit screen real estate, the 40mm Galaxy Watch 8 actually performed better than I expected, especially considering its size. But if you were leaning toward the 44mm version, maybe for that just right balance, you might want to think twice if battery life is high on your list. In my test, it just didn't deliver the same endurance as the two other. And guys, there we have it. So I guess I will see you in the next one. Peace.